Hello, and welcome to episode 155 of Design Curious Podcast. I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. Today on the podcast, we are talking about getting that breakthrough in your business. Maybe you're feeling stuck and you know that your business and you as a designer could be better, but you're not sure how to make that happen or when, or you're just feeling overwhelmed. Well, here's the truth. Your biggest business breakthrough probably isn't hiding in your inbox or your to-do list. It's going to come when you step away from the day-to-day grind, get around the right people, and give yourself space to think bigger. If that intrigues you, you're going to like today's episode. And so let's get into it. You're now listening to Design Curious, a place where you, creative one, are here to learn about what it really is like to be an interior designer. And I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. If you're worried about how to succeed in a creative career, if you're ready to learn your next steps to become an interior designer, and if you want the satisfaction of doing something you love every day, you are in the right place. Grab a coffee, a notebook, and let's dig into today's episode. So we're going to break today's discussion into 3 parts. First of all, why you need to step out of your daily routine in order to get breakthrough in your business. Then we're going to talk about the power of proximity, who's around you, who you surround yourself with. And then we're going to talk about the value of time. So let's get started on that discussion. First, we're talking about your environment and why you kind of need to go away in order to make change happen. When you're in your day-to-day, you have a routine, and routine is great. You want routine, you want systems, you want to keep following what you're doing that's the right thing, but rarely do you make time to evaluate and see, is this the right thing, or is this the best thing that I should be doing right now? Because you're in that system and in that routine. Research from the University of Utah found that spending just 4 days away from your usual environment, and especially without digital interruptions, can boost your creativity by 50%. That's crazy. So if you haven't taken a vacation in a while, I am giving you permission right now to book that 4 days away if you can, even if it's just going over to the next town, going over to the beach or some destination not too far away, just to get you out of your usual environment. New environments trigger your brain's default mode network, which supports problem solving and innovation. For me, travel is one of the things that my heart loves. So in my full focus planner, I use the wellness version of it now, and there is a heart check, a couple of pages at the beginning that you do every quarter to see what is motivating you in your life and what makes you happy. Where do you find the most joy? And one of those things I consistently put in there is travel, because I love to be in new environments, not for extended periods of time, but for short periods of time, up to a week or maybe 2. Just to travel. I love seeing new architecture and studying what other designers and architects are doing in other towns and cities. I love the inspiration that nature provides too. I always come back feeling inspired, feeling like my creative juices are ready to go, and very motivated to do the best I can in my business and to improve it and make it better. And also my craft. I want to be a better designer. I've got ideas. And most of the time with designers and with creativity, you're not always inventing something that's new. Your creativity is kind of like maybe baking or cooking. You're taking all these parts and putting it together, maybe in a new way. And that's what I also love and get inspired by. Food in really fine restaurants is because of the way they plate it, the way they put it together or deconstruct something. They're taking all the same ingredients that you might have at home, but presenting it to you in such a unique way. And that's what you do with design. Every designer has access to a lot of the same materials, the same fabrics, the same furnishings, but not everybody puts it together in the same way. And so that's where your creativity can get sparked. You can jump off of someone else's inspiration, someone else's design, and you say, I love what they did here, but I would love to change it and make this be a more floral pattern instead of geometrics. But what if we use the same colors, or we use black and white? And so use it as a jumping off point to make something that is your own and unique for your client, for your design. And you might not get that inspiration if you're just stuck in your office, in your home office, at your desk, on your computer, in front of a screen all the time. There's something about being immersed in that environment that makes a change. And we've also seen the studies about in Asia where doctors will prescribe people to go out into nature. It's called a forest walk or forest bathing, I believe. And they are healed. They take in the beauty of the nature, and it really does something to your body. And so it's important that you get out of your environment, you get into nature, first of all, but then you go to also places that are going to inspire you, whether that's man-made architecture or natural architecture, maybe the arches or some Grand Canyon or something that nature has done that's really inspiring. It doesn't always have to be a big trip like that. You could just go to your local lake or your local mountain and just take a day and spend some time with yourself and get inspired. And that's also one of the points of, I had mentioned before, decided to start taking personal retreat days quarterly. And that's part of the thing, is that I go somewhere else during the day, get out of my environment so I can focus a little better, so I can get inspired, have perspective. And it's really important to change your environment to do that. We all are very much aware as designers how much our environment affects us. You know the expression like physician, heal thyself? Well, designer, you need to heal thyself. You have to also listen to what you're preaching and think about your environment. And if you're stuck in the day-to-day, if you're not feeling inspired, then you need to get out of there. Do something new and not stay at your desk. Your desk is designed for execution, not imagination. And if you want vision, you need to be in a setting that sparks it. And the best part is it's not just about where you are, but it's also about who you are with. So that brings us to the next part, the power of proximity and who is around you. Jim Rohn is famous for saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Who are your top 5 people? You could pull up your phone. Maybe they're your favorites in your text contacts, the people that you're talking to the most. But who are you surrounding yourself day to day with? What is their mindset? Are they as motivated? Are they business owners? Are they designers? Are they inspiring to you? Take a moment to think about that, because if they are not going places in life and you want to go places, you might need to change who you're spending most of your time with. Not saying you can't be friends with them, but I'm just saying spend more time with the people you want to be like. Harvard Business Review found that people in high-performing peer groups improve their results by 15 to 20% simply by being exposed to better ideas and higher standards. And this is the reason why I am part of a mastermind group of designers. We get together in person now every 12 months in some destination around the world. And every 6 months, we'll have a 3-day summit, essentially to review each other's financials, go over our business goals, and exchange ideas. And then we also meet monthly to pinpoint topics that we might need help with currently in our businesses or for some education to learn. And this group has influenced so much the way that I have run my business in the last 5 years since we started meeting. The ideas I've gotten from them have been infused into the way that I run my business now, and it's only improved for that. And I love when we get together. I'm always pushed to do better, pushed to be better. Having a support group around you of like-minded individuals who are supporting and encouraging you is exactly what you need to go through owning a business, running a business, being the best designer you can be. You can't do this alone. No man's an island. Proximity creates access to knowledge, encouragement, and opportunities. I don't love networking per se. We talked about before being an introvert, like going to networking events locally, like for my Chamber of Commerce, of which I am a member. Always had that feeling before I go, I kind of want to just stay home, or I just want to stay at the office and not actually go and talk to a bunch of people I don't know and businesses that might not be of any benefit. However, after I go, I'm always so grateful because I love making connections. I am very much a connector as well, and I love finding out how I can connect someone with another person. That might have nothing to do with me, but I'm meeting a need that they have because I know someone that they might need to know. That might happen for you. The more you're out there networking with designers, contractors, architects, or people outside of your industry, the more you will have connections and the more you will have opportunity. If I didn't have my networking events, I wouldn't have known when I was starting out my business that I needed a certain amount of insurance. Like I had to set up my books a certain way. I talked about this in the Mindset Shift series, that it was really important to have those people around me so that I could learn and be like, oh, I'm actually not doing this right. So I knew the right person to ask. And even if that person wasn't my long-term solution, like I might have switched insurance agents or switched banks or switched bookkeepers, that got me started in the right direction of what to look for. Sometimes people are in your life for a season to mutually be beneficial to each other, and then you can move on. So if you get overwhelmed at the thought of having to have like hundreds of new friends, that's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying surround yourself with people who are like-minded. So reach out to your local design groups. Think about joining a mastermind. Go to retreats or even conferences. The furniture markets usually will have learnings and places where you can meet and greet people. I'm going to say right now that if you're in the Sacramento area, I'm talking about this because I'm coming up with a solution for you. We have a retreat coming up in November 13th and 14th, and I want you to be there because you need this. You need to change your environment, first of all, even though we're keeping it in the Sacramento area, but you're going to get out of your office and you're going to go to a new place and you're going to surround yourself with designers and with people who are maybe farther ahead of you in systems or mindset, who can share ideas with you that is going to push you to break through, to get to that next level. If you're not satisfied with the way it is running right now, then this retreat is going to push you to the next level. I cannot express how important it is to be surrounded by the people that you want to be like, and then also getting out of your usual routine in order to make that happen. Okay, so if you want to reach a higher level of business, you need to be in the same room, the room where it happens, as the people already operating there, having candid, open conversations about what is actually working. Now, you might be saying, your hesitation might be like, I can't take 2 days out of my work week to go to this retreat specifically that I'm planning for you, or any retreat or any mastermind group. I told you I take 3 days every 6 months to meet with my group. When we meet in person, I'm usually gone for a week and a half because I might be going Australia or Boston or someplace like that. Next, we're going to Canada, and I want to make sure I have enough time to visit the place that I'm traveling to as well. So I'm taking time off of my business. How am I doing that? Because I have, first of all, valued the time away. I put a lot of value on that time away. I put a lot of value on being with the people that are going to make the change happen that I want to see. But also, I understand that I don't always have to be working in my business for 50, 60 hours a week. I don't even work in my business 40 hours a week right now. It's exactly the way I designed it. If we go back to the first episode in the Mindset Shift series, I talk about how I designed a career that supports the life that I want to live. Research shows that productivity drops sharply after 55 hours a week, meaning that more work or working more hours doesn't equal more output. It drastically declines after a certain amount of time. You got to cut yourself off, first of all, because you're doing not as good work. You're not as creative, but then you're only working in your business and you're not working on your business, which you've heard this expression so many times. All the coaches out there right now are going to say this to you. You got to work on your business and not just in your business. The most profitable design firms aren't necessarily working more hours. They've intentionally built pricing, processes, boundaries to deliver high-value design in less time. I know it sounds crazy, but it's possible. I didn't think it was possible for the longest amount of time. I hustled a lot. But now I find that the way that my pricing is, that we capture all of our time when we're doing our hourly time as well, that was a big part of it. Creating boundaries, the time of day that I'm meeting with people. And that just made it so much better. My profitability went up and my work hours went down. So it is possible. I'm here to tell you that it is. So you can dream for it and it can happen, but you have to make time to work on your business to make it happen, which is what I eventually learned that I had to do. For the longest time, I didn't seek out coaching. I didn't go to conferences. But once I started doing that, the more I realized I need that, and I make time for professional development, quite a lot of it in my work year. And it's also really important to pause to review your numbers, review what your client mix is, the type of projects you're working on, your service structure, and how to create that business that supports your life, like we talked about in the Mindset Shift series. So I highly encourage you to take these words to heart and think about signing up for the Thrive Retreat in November with me and Kathy Tonks and Sierra Collins. I'm going to have both of those ladies on the podcast in a few weeks to talk about in more detail this retreat. Even if you're not in the Sacramento area and you want to travel, you want to take those 4 days that I talked about to maximize your creativity by 50%, then I'd say it's definitely worth it. You can find more information about the retreat in the show notes. I'll leave a link for you to find that. But it is exactly what this podcast is talking about. It's the right environment. It's the right people, and we're going to give you the right strategies to help make those big shifts in your business without burning out. Some highlights from the retreat that I know we're going to go into detail in a few weeks, but we're going to have some breakout sessions with yours truly and the other ladies, talk about mindset shifts and also business practices. We'll have Q&A. We can get your most burning questions answered in that time. You're going to be surrounded in a beautiful environment, away from your desk, by other like-minded designers who you might be able to create a support group with. You could do a follow-up group with them, which would be wonderful. Yeah, you're going to be away from your emails and away from job site visits and whatever you might have going on, but that stuff can wait. This is so important. The workshops, the sessions on streamlining and pricing and scaling, it's all going to come together for you. You're going to be so inspired and you're going to jump back into your work a new designer. Okay, so if you have been stuck in the weeds and you're ready for clarity and connection and a plan that gives you more freedom and income, then I encourage you to join us. And if you can't join us, then I encourage you to reach out to me and we can talk about if My Design Mentor is a good fit for you or some other retreat or location that I might be able to suggest to you just to get you going. And as always, reach out to me if you have a different pain point that I didn't bring up today that is maybe holding you back from attending these things and breaking out of your environment and being around people who are going to lift you up. So I'd love to hear from you. And let's get you on the shortcut to working less, get you in the room where it happens, because you know that it's not going to be happening at your desk. So hopefully you've learned that stepping away from your desk, has a huge ROI when it's intentional, when you're surrounded by the right people, and that you're just going to have a boost in creativity when you're taken out of your environment. Designers are always on, right? We're always like thinking about our clients, or on client calls, or on site visits, sourcing, doing admin. And I know that the idea of stepping away feels impossible. It's not. I've done it. Lots of other designers are doing it too. Part of the purpose of this podcast is to introduce you to concepts and ideas that maybe you haven't before. I like to think of it as like if I were in my career 15 years ago, and I just kind of had my head in the sand, I was just doing whatever, I would want to be hearing all of this. And so that's why I'm telling you this. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Don't forget, in the show notes, we have a lot of great things for you. And I look forward to seeing you at the Thrive Retreat. And also next week, we'll have another great episode for you. And until then, stay creative. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode, please leave a rating and a review. This helps me reach other curious creatives like you. If you have a topic request or would like to contact me, simply head over to my website, rwarddesign.com, or email me at podcast@rwarddesign.com.